Jake the Snake Roberts recently returned to the wrestling world. He's now a manager in All Elite Wrestling. A few weeks ago on Dynamite, Roberts came out and interrupted a promo by Cody. And he immediately made it clear that he's not going to be a quote-unquote baby face in the promotion, no matter how legendary he is in the eyes of many fans. And he told Cody, he said the line, "I'm not here to praise you, I'm here to slay you." And announced that he was bringing in a client into AEW. He then said, "I was told to never turn your back on someone you respect or are afraid of." He then did exactly that to Cody. He would then unveil Lance Archer as his client, and Lance Archer, we now know, will make his in-ring debut on Dynamite next week. So Roberts took part in an interview with Sportskeeda, and he mentioned a little bit about how he was brought in to AEW. And he mentioned that it was Tony Khan, all the way, who wanted to bring him in. And this is what he said to Sportskeeda. He said, "My name kept getting brought up by people, but it was actually Khan that said, 'I want him in here.' That's quite a compliment there. That's not the way I expected to be brought in. I expected it to be through Dallas or through Dustin, but it wasn't. It was Khan who wanted me in there. He's the one that initiated the 'let's get him.' I did the little card dealing gimmick I did for them at Double or Nothing. That was just a nice thing to do, but then to get invited to do this angle was much bigger." And this is something that I think a lot of fans who have been around for a while, who have followed Jake the Snake Roberts' career, they're very excited that he's back in this role. And this is, well, it's not back in this role. He's never done this role before, but that he's back and it's in this role. And this is something that AEW has kind of brought back to wrestling, how they treat legends. If you go to WWE, if you look at WWE, when they bring back legends, it's never really as part of an angle. It's part of sort of a one-night celebration where they might do something that's considered a passing of the torch to some other wrestler. An example is like when Austin came back on March 16th. It was, it wasn't as part of an angle where Austin's like a continuing character in a storyline. He's just there. He sort of passed the torch to Becky Lynch. I can't remember what they did or whatever. And it was the same thing with the NWO. The NWO came back for one night on SmackDown, but it was never really as part of an angle or an ongoing story. It's just this one-off thing, maybe to get a little bit of ratings, or maybe to draw up interest for the Hall of Fame, which now, unfortunately, we don't know when that Hall of Fame is going to take place. But in AEW, it's different. In AEW, you've got Tully Blanchard is back, but he's not just coming in to do a random Four Horsemen reunion. He's back as the manager of Shawn Spears, and they're doing this thing now where they're looking for a tag team partner for Spears. And then Arn Anderson's back in wrestling, but he's not back just doing one random one-night thing. He's now the manager of Cody Rhodes, and he's managing the American Nightmare family. And same thing with Jake the Snake Roberts. He's back as a character in wrestling, although he's not actually wrestling. But his promos aren't based on reliving the past. They're based on what's happening in AEW now. And I think that's what is more exciting about Jake Roberts being back in wrestling with AEW than it would be if he went back to WWE for the odd appearance. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any more news or reports from Spoiler Free Wrestling.